Hey guys, welcome back. Orbomb here, bringing you another one of our live deck matchups. Sorry for missing yesterday's upload. Once again, it was just a matter of recovering. I'm really behind on all my schedule stuff, just because of my phone breaking, which I finally got a new phone. So I guess in the next few videos, not I think the next two live matchups you won't see a change in quality, but maybe after that you'll see something. Before we get into the video, don't forget to drop a like. On the left you have me, Orbomb. I'm playing this really cool deck. It's a spread archetype that I'm playing right now. It's Weezing with the brand new Gengar. This is actually something I'm really excited about. You see me wearing my work clothes. I'm telling you, man, as soon as I get off work, the first thing I do is meet up with people to go record games for you guys. I'm doing this for you, so definitely drop that like button if you have not. Hit that like if you haven't already, and don't forget to share the video. It really helps. We're trying to hit that 6,000. I was trying to hit 7,000, but whatever. And to the right you have Kate. She's playing Blastoise GX. Another really cool deck. I'm really excited for you guys to see. So we're leading with the Articuno here. Oh, excuse me, guys. I just had some almonds, so I had some almonds stuck in my mouth. You know how it is, right? Articuno has a cool ability where if it's active, your opponent cannot target your bench water Pokemon. Your bench water Pokemon from, I believe it's just supporters. I don't know if abilities work. I don't actually remember off the top of my head, but that aside, excuse me. It is currently 10:40. Trying to get this recorded for you guys, but I'm playing some really cool Ghastlies. I'm actually gonna pull up the cards real quick, so hopefully my computer doesn't explode in the meantime. All right, cool. I always forget to do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and set things up. So if you guys don't know, Weezing has this really cool ability that all of your opponent's basic Pokemon take 10 damage between turns as long as Weezing is active. And its attack is Tapu Koko's attack, 40 base damage for a DC, and then 20 damage to all your opponent's bench Pokemon that have damage counters on them. I believe that's how that works. Let me double check. Weezing. Here it is. Yeah, they have to have damage counters on them first. So that's something to keep in mind. But of course, we have cards like oh man, now my computer's being all loud. That's always annoying. We have cards like Spell Tag that can help spread damage and whatnot. So it's relatively easy to spread damage across your opponent's side of the board. Plus, your ability itself should spread damage early, especially if you get the thing out pretty quickly. We also play Ghastlies. Ghastlies are pretty cool because Ghastly have this really cool new ability. Is it with a G? I don't think it is. Here it is. If this Pokemon gets knocked out, when this Pokemon is knocked out, search your deck for 200 and put them into your bench. They don't have to be active as long as they're just knocked out in general. You can even knock it itself out, I guess through Giratinas, although I don't really see that happening. But yeah, if it gets knocked out, you can put 2 Haunters from your deck onto your bench, and since that happens between turns, when it's your turn again, you should be able to evolve them immediately. I'm pretty sure that's how the ruling works. I know lately I've been getting some ruling things wrong, but I'm pretty positive that's how it works. So now you can evolve them right away, which is pretty cool. We have a couple cool Gengars here. So Weezing hits the board finally, so we're going to be able to spread some damage with that between turns. Everything should be able to take at least 1 damage counter. But let's talk about the Gengars. We have a brand new Gengar in this. First of all, the old Gengar is the one that, if it's on the board, every time your opponent touches an energy from their hand, you may put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. It's going to be really cool against all this fire stuff since they use Welder, and Welder attacks from the hand, which means every time they use Welder, they're taking an extra 40 damage. So that's pretty good spread in its own right. And then combine that with the fact that a lot of these good decks are basic heavy. Weezing becomes really powerful. Spell Tag's good because they will be taking knockouts on you. And then you just continue to spread damage until you win, more or less. I'm gonna use Cynthia here. Attach a DC to the bench one, only because I don't know, why did I do that? Oh, does my active one, I think my active one has counter energy on it or something like that? I'm not too sure. I know that Weezing's pretty heavy though. I know that it can't retreat very easily. You play Shrine of Punishments. We play a lot of stuff here to put damage on the board. Spell Tag on the active, so if it gets knocked out, no problems. And that's just going to be a pass from me. Now the other Weezing, it must have like a counter energy or something. Oh no, never mind. I'm not attacking. Oh yeah, no, whatever. It doesn't matter. So Gengar's new ability is when you evolve this Pokemon from your hand. Put 6 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon GX and EX in any way you like. So it's a really nice way to spread a little bit of damage on the board. So that's pretty handy. So you have a little bit of spread here and there. You're going to see that that kind of helps a lot in this matchup as well. Combined with Weezing's attack, spell tags, Even Haunters have a cool attack. The old Haunters has this Pain Amplifier, puts 2 damage counters on any Pokemon that have damage counters on them, I believe. So, once again, this is all really cool because these are placing damage counters for the most part, which means that your opponent can't stop them with cards like Mew or anything like that. And there's all these cards are easily searchable with all the ball stars we currently have in the format. Now, my point to get the other powerful Squall Blastoise is to look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach any water energies you find there. And let's talk about Blastoise GX. Now, Blastoise GX is a 250 HP Stage 2 GX Pokemon, so obviously Stage 2s are hard to get out, but this Blastoise is pretty strong. Let me see if I can find Blastoise. Are you gonna show up for me? Let me double check here. There we go. Nope. How about this one? There we go. So it's 240 HP, not 250. Its ability is Solid Shield, which means they take 30 less damage from attacks. Pretty strong in this matchup in particular, since the spread is a little bit weaker. And as you attack Rocket Splash, which does 60 damage, and you can shuffle any amount of water energies attached to your Pokemon in your deck. It's 6 more damage for each card you shuffle in that way. So it's not 60 plus, it's 60 times. So you need to shuffle something to put some damage on the board. But it's pretty strong nonetheless. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, and then you have Big Geyser, kind of worthless. Attach as many water energies from your hand to your Pokemon anyway. Like, it's not really synergistic with the deck style, so that's why it's kind of weird. But nonetheless, it's something. You combine that with the other Blastoise, which hits for 160, that's 50 damage recoil, and then you have Magikarp Wailord tag team that can use that tag team GX attack that's really strong. Articuno to prevent your bench from being really targeted for the most part. So you make this really interesting water deck that I really want to explore more. I feel like Blastoise has some potential. It's a water deck which is in itself strong because there's too many good fire things right now, and the only problem with it is its consistency. Now there has been some really cool decks I've seen out there that I really want to try in the future. This build is not playing it, but one big build I've seen was a Green's Analysis build. With the Green Analysis build, it's exclusively early game usage, which means that once you evolve your Pokemon, you can no longer use the Green Search, not Build. I'm confusing Green and Bills. Build Search, Green Search. Guys, I'm telling you, it's really late for me. Green Search and Bill's Analysis. Now this deck is using Bill's Analysis. The Green Search is cool. You can't play Articuno, you can't play Ditto. The deck itself, I believe, only played like 4 Squirtle and like one other and Magikarp Wailords, and that's about it. But because you're not playing any ability basics, it's easy enough for you to set up your board using greens to find rare candy plus another card, and it was interesting in its own right. The problem is that I like Articuno a lot, and then once you evolve, you can no longer use your green. Excuse me, sorry for that yawn there. Because green only works if there's no abilities on the board. So it's kind of weird, but it really helps your early game. While Bill's Analysis lets you use it throughout the game for the top 7 cards, which should give you a high chance to find the cards that you need. So I'm currently trying Bill's. I want to try green in the future, maybe on PTCGO. But now we're just spreading damage thanks to our Weezing's ability. We can attack. Once he takes a knockout, Spell Attack procs 2. We can take a couple knockouts here. And that Ditto does get knocked out with an attack, so that's pretty strong. I guess my opponent miscalculated there. One thing you can play in this deck as well is Triple Boost Energies. I'm currently not playing Triple Boost Energies in the Weezing deck. The only reason why I mention that is because the other Gengar has an attack for a Triple Boost Energy, which confuses and sleeps. I believe I have to double check here. Gengar. Yeah, it's attack for 3 energies, does 70 damage. Your post-active Pokemon now is poisoned in sleep, not confused in sleep. So that's not bad. I like the other Gengar's attack better. It does 70 damage, but it's also Psychic DCE. But it also does like some asleep and poison or something like that. I don't remember. I have to double check actually. I should probably keep that in mind. Gengar DCG. Crimson Invasion Gengar, that's the one it was. Gnawing Curse whenever yada yada. Phase of Plague, your post-active Pokemon is now confused. Okay, so it's not as... I mean, Confusion's good because... actually, you know, to be fair, I guess the other one's better. Never mind. I was thinking of something else then. Yeah, this is the good attack. The poison and the sleep. probably better than Confusion because you get that added damage as well. So triple boosts are definitely not bad in this deck, but I'm playing Psychic because you need to be attack. I mean, at some point in the game, you're probably going to be attacking with Haunter because Haunter's such a good attacker anyways, and Haunter is a single Psychic energy, so that's why I'm playing the Psychic. The DCEs could probably all be actually, you need the DCEs for Haunter as well, for the Weezing as well. So it's kind of hard to fit in. Now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of hard to fit in the triple boost. Maybe because I built this deck like forever ago, guys. But maybe during the deck building process, I did think about that and was just like, I don't have space for these, so I cut them. Although I could probably have cut the counter energies that I'm playing in this deck for them as well. Something to keep in mind for the future. I know that like when I was building these decks, guys, yeah, I'm playing a few counter energies. Those could probably be cut for triple boost, to be honest. When I was building these decks, it was fairly quickly to get this content out for you guys. I'm fairly tired when I'm building these decks. Please, I know that I made a few deck building mistakes here and there. Maybe I should have played this, maybe I should have played that. Like, I don't remember in Blacephalon if I was playing Lucamine Prism, but I should have been playing Lucamine Prism in that deck, and I won up Blacephalon GX. Now, I didn't play the Blacephalon GX because I hated the idea of having only like 7 or 8 basics and one of them being a GX Pokemon that I never want to hit the field. For sure, because that could ruin a lot of your combos and things like that. But it's something you can play in there for sure. I do stand by. I know a lot of people really think that Blacephalon needs to be played with Green Search and not with Salazzle. I stand by the Salazzle. You could also play it with Flareon. I just think having a non-basic attacker in this upcoming format is just way too strong because the basic attackers are just dominating, and that makes Vileplume pretty good. So Gengar here has Free Retreat, which is something worth keeping in mind. This makes Gengar pretty good. Now I have a couple cards in hand, Spell Tags, Counter Energies. I've got the works right now. I would like another Weezing down so I can continue spreading damage, maybe knock out that bench Blastoise. If I evolve this thing as 110 HP, it's not going to be knocked out by an evolution quite yet, but it can do some work. I can't put my opponent to sleep for sure. I have Spell Tag, Counter Energy on the bench Weezing, and okay, just reminding her to take her prize, of course. Just having real difficulty deciding what I want to get rid of here. I guess Lele Prism because I am playing a pretty good amount of rescue stretches, either 2 or 3. I don't think I'm playing 4 though, but I am definitely playing at least 2 or 3 in this deck. So being able to have access to so many stretchers means I'm pretty comfortable tossing away some Lele's. I want to reuse Stretcher a lot in this deck because I do, and I'm assuming your Pokemon are going to be knocked out, and it'd be pretty nice to be able to knock out a bunch of them. But Free Retreat, this does put them to sleep and poisons them. Minus 30 damage because of the ability, of course. So I'm only hitting 50, but they are poisoned, and boom, still poisoned, still asleep, I should say. If she does take a knockout, we can always have Spell Tag proc that can help us out. We don't have Shrine of Punishment on the board right now, but if we do get Shrine of Punishment, that's even more damage on that Blastoise, combined with evolving into another Gengar, and you have a lot of damage on the board. That Blastoise GX needs to go down so I can take my prize. I remember this first game was a really long game. Excuse me. The other two were not nearly as long though. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm hoping that wakes me up a little bit. I'm so tired, guys. Of course, if she takes a knockout, I can go directly into a Weezing and put more damage on the board. Of course, there's no Weezing on my board, but it's something I could have done. Go into Weezing, and then since it's between turns, put damage on the board as well. She's in a Max Potion though, which is super annoying, but I mean, this deck's pretty good because you have Max Potion. I've always enjoyed playing decks that have like damage reduction, because that makes you so much tankier than having a lot of HP. It makes it so much harder for them to knock you out, and then you can just use cards like Max Potion. Dude, I swear I'm making like half of the audience. Half of you guys are like yawning right now, and I do apologize so badly. I know it's like, I'm sleepy though, so please forgive me. This is for you guys. My opponent did wake up. They're going to take their poison damage. There's a Weezing. I would like to knock out that bench Blastoise because that's her energy accelerator. It also gets 3 energies in that discard pile. So if I have a Guzma, I would love to use that right now. I think there's one in my hand. Guzma, then knock out that thing. It has 120 damage on it, so one Guzma would technically be a knockout. Looks like I'm not going to do that though. I don't remember if I had the Guzma in my hand or not. But if I knock out this Blastoise, I have 3 prizes remaining, right? So I guess I need to knock out both of these Blastoises if I'm going to do well. But my opponent does get Bills to get Stretcher and Pokegear. Stretcher gets her Wartortle. Okay, no rare candy quite yet, which is fine. Another manual attachment. Damage on the board because of the ability. And more damage. Just so much damage being put everywhere. I'm just going to retreat here into the Weezing and just start attacking with this Weezing. I want to try to knock out that thing before it becomes too strong. The things on the bench, both Wartortle and Blastoise need to go. And then damage reduction, of course. But, you know, overall, spreading damage seems pretty good. More poison damage. Weezing's ability doesn't go into play because everything is evolved. There's a Guzma. And here comes a knockout with no spell tag attached to this thing. And she's knocking out the other one. Okay, that's fine. I guess she wants to avoid any potential knockouts I can take with spell tag. Because I could knock out that Blastoise now because of that. Gengar comes back active. I could have gone to Weezing, but I have no safe way to retreat. There's a counter energy. Is that game? Do I win? I can definitely knock out at least one Blastoise. But I definitely want to manipulate damage this turn for sure. Just to avoid any max potion shenanigans. I want to be able to take my knockouts where I can. Free retreat on Gengar is always really nice. It's moving damage. Let's see. Yeah, 4 on the active. So I'm putting 2 there and the other 2 there to take a knockout. So that's gone. And then the other 2 goes to the other bench Blastoise. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening. Okay, cool. That's a Guzma target away from being knocked out, ideally. But the bench Blastoise is gone, so there goes her energy accelerator. She can only take 1 more real knockout. I guess 2 more, because there's pretty low HP Pokemon on the board. But if I can just Guzma the Pokemon that have no energy, or attack the Pokemon that has energies, or that has energies to attack with, and then just rely on some coin flip shenanigans, I can potentially win this game. My opponent, on the other hand, is going to have to deal with it as well. So shuffling 2 energies back in the deck on the Blastoise with all the damage on it is pretty smart because now she's just a manual attachment away. But I can evolve, put 6 damage counters on that thing, Guzma, and I believe that's knockout. I have free retreat, so don't worry about me switching. Let me see. She's 60, 120, 170. She only has so much HP on her. It's actually not a knockout. This is where finding Shrine would have been super nice, but she is confused and asleep, or asleep and poisoned, I should say. And she did flip tails. So does she have Guzma for game? There's Pokegear. Does Pokegear find her Guzma for game? Because if it gets her Guzma, then she can still attack for game, but it gets her Bills instead. And there's a Brooklet. Probably should have used Brooklet first before she used the Pokegear, but it was done is done. And there's another Pokegear, thinning the deck even more. Let's see. Did she find the Guzma? And there's Guzma for game, of course. She did find the Guzma manual attachment and just took a knockout there. Pokegear is an incredibly strong card. It was really, really close. But it was just a matter of, like, can I find my Shrine? The Shrine was in the deck the whole time. It was just a matter of me finding it at that point. I would say add Jirachis, but you really don't have bench space for Jirachis. Just because you're going to have your board is going to be full of Weezings and Gengars anyways. But I mean, maybe a Jirachi wouldn't be bad in here. It's just like if you play Jirachi, then you have to add things like a skateboard, but you already have free retreaters in the deck, so you don't really care to do that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here. We're gonna move on to game 2 though, so just a reminder, don't forget to drop a like if you have not already. It is always greatly appreciated. I promise you these games are a little bit shorter for now, and that first game was the longest one. The second one is also pretty long, but I don't believe it's longer than the first game. So, but the second game is pretty short, so we can just get this game over with real quick, which is good because my throat gets pretty sore after talking for so long, especially now since I'm still like in the process of healing. But guess what, guys? I'm not in like agonizing pain like I used to be, so that's pretty exciting. I just got a new phone, thanks to some help with some friends. I managed to get myself a new phone with a decent camera, so that's pretty good. My car is for the most part fixed. I got the alignment and new tires done. I'm deep in credit right now. I'm deep in my debt, but at least I can pay it off with like tax returns and just a couple weeks of working a lot more extra, which is another reason why like videos are a little bit slower going out. I'm just trying to pay off everything. Unfortunately, life hit me pretty hard. We also have a Lele Elite, so that doesn't help too much either. We're probably gonna marsh out my opponent because apparently we're stuck. We can't do much here. If we're forced to marsh out, it's not super great. But Ultra Ball gets us Marsh Shadow, I believe. I'm just double checking everything. All right, I must have discarded something by accident. Yeah, I treasured for 2 cards instead of just 1. There we go. That makes more sense. All right, let's do this. Marsh Shadow here. Turn on Marsh Shadow against my opponent. Unfortunately, we're still in this weird place where Lele is active, but at least we have a Haunter, what's it called? A Coughing down. So that's pretty good. So now here we get Cynthia after attaching the DCE. I want to get that thing out as soon as it becomes a Weezing, like immediately, and just start attacking with it immediately. Of course, when I attack with it, it's not going to matter as much. But there's a Ghastly down, so that's pretty good. Because there's no damage counters on the board for it to really amplify. But we can at least put some damage before she starts evolving. We did put her down to a 4-card hand, so hopefully that helps. There's 3 Squirtles on the board already, so that's really, really good for my opponent. And a turn 1 Lily, so pretty strong Marsh Shadow for my opponent. Manual attachment, and that's pretty much it. So unfortunately, even though she got that strong start, that was still pretty rough for her. So use that DC probably just to retreat. No real reason to have it down on the board anyways, unless that's the reason. I would like to find a Weezing here. I have treasures, I have Ultra Balls, and I have everything I need to find them. Apparently I have a million Ball Search cards in my hand already. But we already have a spell tag on the active. Just double checking my discard pile for Rescue Stretcher shenanigans. We have counter energies, we have Ultra Balls. I'm gonna go ahead and treasure away the Ultra Ball to give myself the Weezing probably. Yep, there it is. Probably gonna use that other treasure in my hand to get the other Marsh Shadow if it's not prized. I think it was prized in this game though, if I remember correctly. But here, we're just gonna go ahead and hit the active for 40 and then use the ability here to spread more damage. All right, perfect. Yeah, there's a Bills. And Bills for another Bill, so this is really simple. All right. Nest Ball, does she want to bench more things though to take damage? Because she's not taking a knockout here unless she also gets a Blastoise. I'm assuming she was looking for Rare Candy there to evolve into a Blastoise and she ended up not finding it, which sucks, but whatever. More damage. These Pokemon will be knocked out. It'd be nice if I could Guzma though. That'd be like best case scenario, right? Maybe I would knock out 2 Squirtles if I can Guzma and retreat. So I'd have to evolve into a Gengar as well as play a Guzma. My hand is not set for that, clearly, but it'd be cool because I can knock out 2 Squirtles. Treasure away a counter energy. Gotta be careful with all these things I'm treasuring away, but I really want to chain Weezings in this match, especially early game like this where like my opponent's not evolving. Again, spell tag and Lily for a few cards here, probably 5. Yep, there it is. And let's see what else we got. Another Ghastly is good. And that's pretty much all I can do here. Treasure away, probably get a Gengar just to do more damage in case she attaches energies. I think it's pretty good because she seems to be attaching energies pretty commonly right now, so that's good. And that's 1 less Squirtle on the board, and they all take damage. 20 damage plus another 10 damage from the ability, meaning they're all just going to get knocked out if she can't do something here. Luckily, she can find a Wartortle though, so that's good. Probably evolve that bench one to protect it from being knocked out. The ability doesn't work on it, but the attack will work on it, so that's something she has to keep in mind. And then if she can't do something with a Squirtle in the active, that will also be knocked out. So Weezing is just putting in an insane amount of pressure against these stage 2 decks, which is this does the same kind of thing to decks like Zorua and Inkays, and even against Inkays in particular, we hit them for weakness. So the active Pokemon will probably be knocked out every time, especially if we can Guzma up the Malamars and stuff like that. So Weezing proving itself just as a card. Weezing in itself is a strong card, and I can't wait to personally play this deck, like for real, because I actually really like this deck. I want to try out a bunch of different ideas. There's another Bills. Does she find rare candies? There's a Stretcher and a Cynthia, but still no rare candies. Bill's showing off his downside. I'm kind of assuming a few rare candies are prized, but we've seen one in the deck so far. It's just in the bottom right now. Stretch her to get another Squirtle back, just so she can chain Squirtles easier, evolve them easier. And yep, damage from the spreading, damage from the ability, I mean. And now we're gonna definitely take a knockout here. It'd be nice if I could find a Guzma though. Another spell tag. Still no Guzmas here. And just a Cynthia here. Continue to set up my board. I can also use Baby Lele to knock out Wartortle and a Squirtle, probably, while also putting it in range of abilities. There's a Shrine of Punishment. I could play that now just to like bump my opponent's stadium, although she has no GXs down, and I kind of like saving my stadiums if I can, but I could definitely see myself playing it, yeah, just to bump the stadium. Seems pretty good. And just to take a knockout here, continue spreading damage. Of course, that Squirtle takes an extra damage counter from abilities. And there's a Blastoise finally, but it's a Blastoise GX, unfortunately. So it's going to be taking Shrine damage, and it won't be able to attack me. I mean, she could take a knockout. If I remember correctly, Weezing doesn't have that much HP, but she still needs to evolve the other Blastoise, the other Squirtle, so that she doesn't take ability damage, because she will be knocked out if she doesn't do that. I just have to attack with the other Weezing on my bench. Which granted, I have to find it first, but there's the attack for 120. Is that a knockout? I don't remember. It is a knockout. And did we have spell tag? We did have spell tag, so and then I guess we had spell tag and we just put it all on the Blastoise, because we're probably going to be taking a knockout here. There's energy, there's DCE. Alright, we found the DCE, so we can actually attack this turn, take a knockout on that Squirtle. And once again, we're just putting in insane pressure. She can always max potion here now, which is pretty good for my opponent, but once again, without another Blastoise down on the board, it's just a lone, it's just a lone Blastoise GX that doesn't have an engine. That's just going to be taken down with time. Obviously, it's a really strong Pokemon versus this matchup because it just continues to absorb damage, thanks to its ability and whatnot. But regardless, we are going to be taking a knockout. Shrine will kick in, and I'm doing minus 30, so I'm only doing 10 damage with this Blastoise. But regardless, we can attack with Haunter, and Haunter does technically do more damage. But if she attaches any energies from her hand, she's taking 2 damage counters as well. Something to keep in mind with the other Gengar down on the board. There's a Wailord tag team. Shrine damage and ability damage will be done to that Wailord. So 20 damage between turns seems pretty good. Even though that thing has 300 HP, it's definitely not bad. And let's see if she increases. There it is. All right, cool. Sometimes we forget the small little things on the board, but luckily she did not. And more damage, and then that one takes 2. Yep, there we go. And if we evolve into the other thing, 6120, that has 170 damage on it right now, which is pretty good. 170 plus 60 would be 230, which means an attack does take a knockout. So we're going to be able to knock out this Blastoise in the active. Let's see. Yeah. Let's put it all in the active here. So we literally just attack. Actually, you know what we do? We put 5 on the active and 10 on the bench, right? That way Shrine plus the attack will take a knockout on it. So let's double check here in case I'm doing any incorrect math. Remember, I did just get off work. Yeah, 5 on the active, another 1 on the bench. So then we attack, and then Shrine puts in the damage, and another 2 damage. Oh yeah, also we're doing 20 spread plus the 20. So we're doing 40 damage between turns on this thing if it's on the bench. If she starts attaching energies, of course, so there's the max potion. If she starts attaching energies, then she does take damage. And then, of course, Shrine plus ability damage. Another 40 damage just between turns, or 20 damage between turns, but 40 thanks to Gengar's ability on the bench. Just this damage spreading is insane, and she's just gonna sit here and maybe try to deck us out with a tag team Wailord in the active, and we're just gonna keep doing damage until we can potentially win. So we'll see which one will win first. Now, of course, we're not doing that much damage, but between turns, we're still doing 20 thanks to our stadium, and our attack does 40. So 60 damage between turns, that's pretty strong. Of course, in 5 turns, we take a knockout. Actually, less than that because 60 damage from an attack. So that's just from our 1 turn, and then between turns, and from the end of her turn, it's 80. That's 20 more damage, so it's 80 every cycle. Of course, no, actually 80 every cycle is definitely, actually, I don't know. The other blast, the Gengar is technically better because it also puts her to sleep. And she's just going to scoop this one up because she knows she doesn't have enough healing to win. So dominant win game 2 from Gengar, and really showcasing the power that is Magikarp Wailord, or not Magikarp Wailord, that is the Weezing. Now this game's gonna be pretty weird. I just remember what happened in this game. So because we ran out of time to record that day, this is the following day, and right now Steven is playing the deck, but Steven actually has to tag out halfway through, and Kate gets to take over. Kate was watching, so it's not like she didn't know what was happening. But yeah, shout out to Steven. Shout out to Cards and Comics. Steven works there, so at some point in the game, he had to go do his job, so he had to leave. But it's fine. Ooh, there is glare here. Fair warning, I guess. We do have a coughing lead, though. This is why I like recording at home and not here, but I can't always record at home, especially when my family's around. Nest Ball. So my opponent does so Steven does get like essentially 3 Squirtles down, which is pretty good. We're going to get down a Ghastly. A turn on Marshadow wouldn't be that bad, but my opponent only has 4 cards in hand, so I guess it's not like super great either. As long as my opponent can't get a turn 1 knockout, which I'm pretty sure they can't. I'm just trying to figure out the glare issue right now. But I can only do so much, unfortunately. Let's see, I'm debating. I have to move it left and right. Opponent does have a turn 1 Lily, so maybe the Marshadow wouldn't have been that bad. Let's see what we can do here. Weezing, obviously, to start spreading damage, which is pretty strong. We already have a Spell Tag attack, so it's not like super interesting. We could have put it on the Ghastly, but I'm not too worried about that. We're just going to go ahead and start using Cynthia. Of course, once again, we can't actually spread damage to those bench Pokemon because they don't have damage counters on them yet. But once our turn passes, between turns, they'll have damage because they're all basics. Another Ghastly down. Not really too much else going on here. I could treasure to get down another Coughing, maybe another Ghastly. We go and put 40 damage there, and just one, and then 1 damage between turns. Of course, that 1 damage also goes on the active Squirtle. So if he takes the knockout, we can spread more damage thanks to Spell Tag and stuff. I don't see my opponent taking a knockout, but there's a Blastoise already. Steven proving himself to have the best luck in the game. It's a meme in our community right now. Steven always top decks and draws everything. We tell him to play the most inconsistent, powerful deck because every time he'll make it the most consistent deck. I love this man. He's one of my best friends. But Blastoise is down. He's going to try to find more Blastoise to put on the field, maybe more Wartortles. The reason why I'm playing Wartortle is specifically because we play the Ditto, by the way. Let's see what my opponent has. Nest Ball. Probably get a tag team down. Blastoise, Magikarp Wailord. Maybe that 4th Squirtle. Magikarp Wailord. There it is. That will be taking damage from our ability. So that's pretty nice for us. There's the abilities. Probably going to start setting up the Magikarp Wailord because Magikarp Wailord's GX attack can do some big damage to our board, since most of our Pokemon have below 100 HP if they're not evolved yet. And this deck's all about like continuously evolving throughout the game. It's definitely not bad, but once it hits late game, it's pretty not good either. So he's probably going to attach to the active and just start attacking me. 50 damage recoil, but I can spread damage. I'm going to put it all on the active Pokemon here. I'm going to start probably using Pain Amplifier here. Counter catcher up that Magikarp Wailord. Nice tanky Pokemon in the active. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and find myself a Haunter. If I can find a Psychic Energy as well, that could be nice. We also need to get Marshadow down, which we're going to do first, I guess. Yep, I'm going to just use Marshadow's ability. If I can get me a Psychic Energy plus a Haunter, that could be really nice. Also, I haven't found a draw supporter yet, so I can still play one of those. But Haunter's Pain Amplifier can put 2 damage counters on all my opponent's Pokemon that have damage counters on them already. So those bench will be taking more damage. It's pretty nice. Unfortunately, his hand is not looking all that. We did get the Haunter. We did get the Counter Energy. We have a... I think we're just going to pass here. I'm not even going to play that treasure because I don't want to lose my Rescue Stretcher in my hand right now. We're just going to go ahead and Pain Amplifier and then pass it off to my opponent. And hopefully there is no max pushing that happens to that Blastoise on the bench because I do want to get rid of that Blastoise. There's a Blastoise GX. There's a Wartortle. And there's an ability. And that's a whiff. That sucks. There's quite a few energies in this deck, but usually the deck really gets going mid to late game. After you use your ability a couple times and shuffle your energies back in a few times with Blastoise's attack. Manual attachment to the active. And that's just that. Pretty good for us. No Weezings right now, so no damage being spread on the board, which would have been really nice, but I'm only playing a 2/2 line of Weezing in this deck. You could probably increase it. I'm thinking about maybe playing around with different numbers in this deck. Whatever I drew must have been pretty useful that I didn't want to lose. It was another stretcher. I definitely don't want to lose my stretchers, so I'm surprised I didn't play it though. But then again, I don't have any way to attack I don't have any energy, so I have no other way to attack right now. I could also save my stretchers to give me Marshadow back. What might be happening is that I'm pretty sure I have a Marshadow prized, which is why I'm doing these awkward plays. And I'm waiting for this. I'm holding on to these stretchers so that I can get back the Marshadow if I need to. And here's where the tag out happens and Kate comes in. So I remember this now. What a weird game. It's fine though. So there is a Gengar down. So I'm looking for an energy right now. I'm just going to treasure away this dude. And yeah, if I remember correctly, yep, there it is. The Marshadow was prized. And just going to grab a coughing now. We have the stretcher in hand still. We're going to use that stretcher. And I'm just going to shuffle things back in. And I think I have a draw supporter in hand. That's why I'm doing all this stuff. Because otherwise, I don't think I'd be doing this. Maybe I don't. And I'm just silly. I guess I didn't. Yeah, I'm just silly. This is why you double check your deck list, friends. I think I just got distracted that Steven left, and I was like, oh god, what am I gonna do now? Okay, come here. We're gonna continue recording this video. I gotta record this video so I can take apart these decks so I can build the next decks. And I guess I got distracted by that. It happens. Whatever. It's fine. No big deal. Still a pretty good game regardless. Opponent showing up. Opponent using the abilities. Once again, another whiff. Very surprised they're whiffing so much. They only have 3 energies on board. That tells me that either there's a bunch of energies prized or they're just not getting energies at all, which is kind of surprising because there's quite a few energies in this deck still. Unless there's a bunch of discard pile that I missed. But there's a DCE, so I can actually start attacking right now if I want to at least. So that's definitely not bad. I guess I'm not going to do that though, because there's no reason to. Might as well hold on to that DC for more important attackers. There is a Pokecom just to get Cynthia, which is pretty nice. And let's see. My opponent's gonna use Squall first, so I guess they don't want to use a Cynthia this turn, or found an energy, which is pretty nice. So Blastoise can actually start attacking. Maybe she has a Guzma in hand, and that's why. I could definitely see that because I could see the desire to start taking knockouts. And there it is, the Guzma. All right, to knock out that coughing, probably the biggest threat. The Weezing pressure is pretty strong. Of course, though, no, I don't know. Now we can start attacking, I suppose. Counter catcher that Blastoise and start poisoning it, putting it to sleep, things like that. It can still use his ability, but at least we put damage on the board. I would like to knock out this Blastoise, because as long as she doesn't get another Blastoise out, that Blastoise is my biggest concern. The other one is completely worthless as soon as it has no energies on the board. There's a Blastoise ability. Now, Blastoise's ability is kind of cool because it also helps you thin your deck so you can find other combo cards easier. Energies on the Blastoise, and here's a Cynthia. Unless she gets another... No, she has no way to switch because she's asleep. So unless she finds like a switch or something, that Blastoise is stuck in the active and is going to be knocked out next turn. Also, I'm attacking with the other Gengar, so this Gengar doesn't poison. It just confuses my opponent. So they're not asleep either. They can still attack me this turn. But if they flip tails, they take recoil damage and get knocked out. And if they flip heads, they take recoil damage and get knocked out. So regardless, this Blastoise is getting knocked out one way or another. And if they flip nothing, I attack them and knock them out. So overall, it's looking pretty good for me as far as getting rid of this Blastoise right now. So unless she gets like Rare Candy Blastoise and manually retreats this thing, I don't see... Oh, there's a max pot. Never mind. Sad days. But it's fine. We'll just attack. Again and again and again if we need to. Yep, 70 damage once again. So we're fairly behind this game. Just having that other Marshadow prize on top of just like dead drawing so much has been pretty killer. I know this deck is... I'm pretty sure this deck is not playing Pokecoms. I think I would have to make space for them. Obviously, whenever you're playing the Gengar line on top of the Weezing, space is a pretty big issue in this deck. But there's the rare candy, so that's pretty good. I just have to continue. I just want to keep playing around with this Gengar deck and optimize it as much as I can. I really like the idea of playing both Gengar and Weezing together. Maybe I cut the Gengar line. I don't play as thick of a line. Maybe one of Gnawing Curse Gengar with like 2 of the brand new Gengars, or maybe the other way around. The other way around would be pretty nice for those welder decks, which I'm assuming will be the best decks of format. So love to see. I still have a chance to like swing this game my way thanks to Baby Lele. I mean, there's damage all over the board still. It's not like there isn't damage on the board. And 2 energies, it's pretty good. I think she's trying to go for a GX attack, maybe, just to get rid of the 2 things on my bench. That's another pass, I'm assuming. Oh, she does have 2 Blastoise on the board now, so she can use double Powerful Squall. Continue to try to set up some different attackers. The other Blastoise can attack as well, but the recoil damage, I relish the recoil damage. I need to find Shrine of Punishment. I need to start setting up a Weezing. There's so many things I need to start doing here, and it all depends on my top deck. We're going to attack again here. There's another energy attachment. I'm assuming a Guzma's coming. Knocking out the Marshadow, which gives me a chance to use Rescue Stretcher if I have one in my hand. I will have to see here. And there's a knockout. No Stretcher in hand, but there's a Cynthia finally. After all those turns, we finally found a draw supporter. We're still playing 4 Cynthia, 4 Lilies in this deck, so quite surprised it took so long to find them, but it's fine. You know, it is what it is. I definitely think I have to fit in Pokecoms in here. I was playing Acrobike in this deck, but we had to make cuts for the Pokemon line. And there's the last card. Coughing. Probably Spell Tag on the Coughing. Maybe on the active. Depending on like if I think my opponent's going to play another Guzma. There's a Ditto down that can evolve into anything, so that's pretty good. And if I can confuse this Blastoise, that'll be nice. The other Blastoise has energies on it. Spell Tag on the active. Okay, that's my thought process there. Stadium down to put some spread damage on the board, and I'm just going to attack this thing. It is reduced, so it's only doing 40 damage, but with Shrine of Punishment, that's 50 damage, so go. And then, of course, the other Pokemon on the bench have to take damage as well. She is confused, so hopefully that doesn't come into play, and she forgets that she's confused or something. See what happens. Yep, there we go. And another attachment thanks to Blastoise, of course. Well, she flip. If she flips, that gives me a chance. She could always just retreat as well. Let me see. Blastoise's retreat cost is something that I'm not seeing right now. Where's the Blastoise? There it is. It is a 3 retreat cost, so she needs 3 energies to retreat. So there's a flip to see if the attack lands, and heads. That means the attack does land, unfortunately for me, which means she does take a knockout. I'm going to go ahead and knock out a Blastoise thanks to Spell Tag. I'm going to put the other ones on the active. That sounds good to me. Alright, cool. So we at least take a prize. That's not good. That's pretty good. But we're definitely not out of the woods yet. There's still lots of damage on the board. We still have access to Tapu Lele, counter catcher. I'm gonna go ahead and just pass it up with the Ghastly in the active, so I can start using Ghastly's ability if she does take a knockout here. She's still confused though, so she still has the flip to take a knockout, which is pretty good. But there's no spread damage being done, which is overall this is just really, really bad on my side. Not finding a draw supporter at all. Having that Marshadow prize was super killer. It makes me almost want to play 3 Marshadows in this deck. Alright, so there's 1 energy thanks to 1 Powerful Squall. Does she have a manual attachment? She does. No damage because the Gengar got knocked out. And flip again. This time tail, so she is taking 3 damage to recoil, so that's pretty good for us. And let's see what we can do here with this. I almost wish she did take a knockout though, so we could have at least got a Haunter down. But I guess we just pass because there's not much else we can do here. Another flip, and this time heads. We're going to go ahead and use the Haunter, use the ability. Of course, with the ability, we put the Haunter down first before we actually choose a new active. Actually, I don't remember if it's the other way around. Maybe we choose a new active Pokemon, then we put down the Haunters. One way or another. I guess I should probably double check on that, huh? That's kind of important. Let me check the thing here. It doesn't tell me, so I guess it means I can just do it immediately and then go directly into my Haunter. It doesn't say otherwise here on Poke Beach. So can we still win this? There's a Weezing. Of course, we are a Guzma away from losing, but she has used quite a few Guzmas already. So that's pretty good. And DCE, and that's just going to be a pass from me. Waiting for a top deck, and we'll see what happens, I guess. More powerful Squall. Now, can she flip heads here to win the game? That's the real question. Or she can just retreat and attack. So there's that as well. So my opponent did just win here, because she did get a third energy. I believe that's a third energy. Maybe not. No, it's not a third energy yet. So once she gets a third energy, she just retreats and attacks. There's a stretcher, which gets me Marshadow finally, so I can finally use Marshadow and draw some cards. That's what I've been looking for the whole game. I wish I didn't get distracted during that one part, because then I wouldn't have used those stretchers. I would just waited as patiently as I could until the Marshadow eventually got knocked out, to be honest, but it's fine. That's 4 cards. There's a Lily and a bunch of cards I can actually play, which is good. Treasure away, treasure to get probably Gengar down. I would like to try to knock out that active Gengar. 6128. Actually, the active Gengar does take a knockout. With evolving, it does take a knockout because it is 60 damage short from being knocked out here. So that's pretty cool. So Gengar will knock out the active Blastoise. That gives me another 2 prizes, as well as an attacker out of the way. But the problem is the Blastoise on the bench can come in and just take a knockout as well if I'm not careful. And that's why she didn't lead with it. And what else can we do? We have Energy Lotto. We have access to Lily. Maybe I forgot about the Lily. There's also Cynthia too. So we're going to go ahead and use Energy Lotto now. That is a free retreater on our bench as well, so we can start attacking with the Haunter if we need to. There's counter energies. We don't have any more damage on the board to move to that bench Blastoise, so that bench Blastoise is just chilling there right now. Gonna attach that to the Haunter, and we're just gonna Lily for 5 or 4 here actually. It's pretty safe this way because we have access to the it gives us access to Cynthia for the following turn as well. And I can just switch and not super sure why I went into the Coughing. Does Coughing have an attack I forgot about or something? Does it poison? Ultra Ball. Oh, maybe I'm just getting... No, I'm not just getting Weezing. The Weezing was in my hand. Yeah, pretty uncertain why I didn't attack with the thing here. Oh, you know what it was? Technically, the... I believe the Weezing has the lowest HP, or the Coughing has the lowest HP. So, if I guess I'm just going ham here. But if I didn't, I'm a Guzma. I'm 1 Guzma less. I'm 1 Guzma short from being knocked out if I do it this way. I believe that's why I'm doing it like this. Let me see if I can find that Weezing as well. I think it's going to be here with the Gengars, right? Yeah, here it is. Well, I guess Coughing also has 7 HP, so I'm not too sure why I did that now that I'm looking at it, because the Marshalls have 7 HP as well, so I still lose to a Guzma. Oh, that's why, the attack. They're now both confused. So I'm trying to stop her from attacking me in general. So we're managing to make a pretty nice comeback here, to be honest. This was the only way to stop my opponent from attacking me next turn with Blastoise. With the active Blastoise, I should say. The bench Blastoise is still a problem. So she does powerful Squall into an energy. I guess that's what she's doing right now, is trying to make sure she has 2 energies to attach us so she can retreat, because Confusion you can still retreat out of. Let's see what she can find here. There's Lily to draw a few cards. Let's see if she draws too many energies. Doesn't look like it, so now she's using powerful Squall. Let's see the whole deck, and 1, 2, manual attach, retreat, and just take a knockout with the bench Blastoise. So unfortunately we were way too behind. I have a strong feeling that if we weren't so behind that game, we probably would have won that game. But overall, I think the deck is really, really, really cool. Blastoise has its own merits as well. I definitely think Blastoise is super dope. I love both of these decks, honestly. I just really like playing spread. I love playing spell tags. I think spell tags are one of the coolest items in the game. So don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already for a chance to win some Unbroken Bond codes. Answer the common question of the day being, what's your favorite nickname to give to a Zapdos? Because I am currently struggling to think of a good nickname to give to Zapdos. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm just currently nicknaming all my favorite Pokemon, or all my strongest Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and I just can't think of a good nickname for Zapdos. It's just bothering me. Anyways, drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. Share. Let me know what decks you want to see me play next. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.